The wind rolled across the open fields of Willowbrook Ranch, carrying with it the scent of hay, dust, and the quiet grief of a woman standing at a crossroads. Emma Clark had come to this place to start over, but she didn't expect her past to follow her like a shadow she couldn't shake off. She didn't expect that one single confession, one shed kept buried deep in her heart, would change the course of her life forever. She didn't expect kindness to come in the form of a rancher with worn-out boots, steady eyes, and a smile soft enough to calm a storm. But that's exactly what happened the day she whispered, "I can't have children," and he gently replied, "Then you'll raise mine instead." It was the moment two broken lives touched and began to heal. Before we begin this emotional journey, make sure you subscribe to Soul Tales for more heartfelt stories like this. Don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and help us spread kindness one story at a time. Emma Clark wasn't running away. She was running toward something: peace, purpose, healing. After a long, painful breakup and years of silently carrying the weight of infertility, she was exhausted. She needed a place where nobody knew her story, nobody knew her scars. So when she saw the ranch hiring post, full-time ranch hand needed, housing provided, she took a chance. Willowbrook Ranch felt like the kind of place where time slowed down, where mornings were painted in gold and evenings smelled like warm earth. It was peaceful, quiet, and far from the noise of the city that always reminded her of what she'd lost. The ranch owner, Luke Dawson, was a man who seemed carved out of the land itself. Strong, calm, thoughtful. He didn't ask many questions the day she arrived. He simply shook her hand and said, "If you're willing to work, you're welcome here." Emma appreciated that. She didn't come here to explain herself. She came here to heal. But healing isn't always easy. On her first morning, she met the person who would change everything. A little girl with big brown eyes and hair like sunlit wheat. Her name was Lily. She was Luke's daughter, curious, gentle, and quiet in a way that suggested she'd seen more than a child should. When she shyly handed Emma a flower shed picked by the fence, Emma's heart softened in a way she hadn't felt in years. "Daddy says you're living here now," Lily said softly. "That's right," Emma replied, kneeling to her level. "And he'll help take care of things around the ranch." Lily smiled, bright and pure. Something inside Emma cracked open. Days turned into weeks. Emma woke before sunrise, fed the horses, repaired fences, and learned the rhythms of ranch life. She grew stronger physically, but her heart was still tender, still healing. Luke watched her work with quiet admiration. He noticed how she took time to help Lily braid her hair in the mornings, how she patched up the barn cat when it got into a fight, how she talked kindly to the horses, as though they were old friends. He noticed, most of all, how she carried a sadness behind her smile. One evening, after a long day fixing the south fence, Luke invited her to dinner. The sun was dipping behind the hills, casting warm colors through the kitchen windows. Lily sat between them, humming to herself while coloring. Luke cleared his throat. "You've been a blessing around here," he said. "Not just for the ranch, for Lily too." Emma smiled softly. "She's a wonderful kid, easy to love." The words slipped out before she could stop them. Her chest tightened. She forced her eyes down to her plate. This was dangerous. Getting attached was dangerous. Luke noticed the shift. His brows pulled together. "You okay?" Emma took a shaky breath. "Luke, there's something you should probably know." She hadn't planned to tell him. She hadn't planned to tell anyone. But the truth pressed against her ribs like it needed to be set free. "I can't have children," she whispered, voice barely audible. "I found out a few years ago it's why my fiancé left. I thought I'd gotten over it, but it still hurts." Silence settled between them, heavy but not cold. Lily looked up, confused but sensing the emotion. She reached across the table and placed her tiny hand on Emma's. "I don't need you to have babies," she said simply. "I just like you." Emma choked on a breath as tears filled her eyes. Luke pushed his chair back gently, stood, and came around to her side. He crouched down so he was eye level with her, his voice warm and steady. "Emma," he said, "that doesn't change anything. Not to me, not to Lily." Her lip trembled. She shook her head. "I just thought you should know before I get too close." "Too late," he said with a soft smile. "We're already close." Emma let out a watery laugh, but Luke wasn't done. "You said you can't have children, but here's the thing. He motioned toward Lily, who was now leaning against Emma's arm. "You already care for one." Emma stiffened. The air felt thick, electric. Luke took a breath. "Then you'll raise mine instead." It was the simplest sentence, but it hit her like a wave of warmth shed long forgotten. Kindness, unexpected, undeserved, overwhelming, washed over her. "Luke," she whispered, tears slipping down her cheeks. He reached out and gently brushed them away. "You didn't come here to be judged. You came here to heal. And if you want to stay, you won't do it alone." Emma couldn't speak. She just nodded and leaned forward into his embrace, Lily wrapping her small arms around both of them. From that night on, everything shifted. Slowly, gently, beautifully. Emma found strength in the rhythm of everyday ranch life. Luke found softness in her laughter. And Lily found a mother in the place her heart had long felt empty. Emma never tried to replace the mother Lily had lost years before. She simply loved her, guided her, comforted her during thunderstorms, cheered at her school recitals, wiped her tears when she scraped her knee, ran her fingers through her hair on nights she couldn't fall asleep. Luke watched the bond grow, grateful for the miracle he didn't dare pray for. And Emma, she discovered that motherhood isn't just about biology. It's about presence, love, kindness, the willingness to show up again and again. Months later, on a quiet autumn evening, Luke asked her to walk with him to the hill behind the barn. The sky was painted in red and orange streaks. He took her hands in his. "You've given Lily joy again," he said. "You've given me hope. And I want to give you something, too." Emma's breath caught when he pulled out a small velvet box. "Emma Clark," he said softly, "be my wife, and stay with us forever." Her answer came out in a breathless whisper. "Yes." Lily's joyful scream echoed across the fields as she ran toward them, wrapping her arms around their legs. And in that moment, Emma realized something. Family isn't always something you're born into. Sometimes, it's something built from kindness. And so, on a quiet ranch in Willowbrook, two broken hearts found healing, and a child found the love she'd been missing. Emma learned that a person's worth isn't defined by what they can or cannot give biologically. Kindness, love, and presence create families stronger than blood ever could. May this story remind us all, sometimes the greatest blessings come from places we never expected, and the smallest acts of kindness can reshape a life forever. Spread kindness today. You never know who might be waiting for it.